going on, you guys? It is another episode of the Sci-Fly Zone where the multiverse meets the seventh inning stretch. It's your boys Trent and CJ, and today's destination is the MCU, as we'll be discussing and breaking down episode 5 of Daredevil. And if you liked and enjoyed this video or this kind of content, please hit the like button or the subscribe button, as it greatly helps the channel. And don't forget to check out our shorts content, as it has our videos' best and funniest moments. But let's get right into it. Spoiler warning moving forward, everybody, but man, Kingpin is gonna open another super collider to see Vanessa, because that's what he did last time Vanessa died. Oh my gosh. Plus, you know how there was that whole discussion about everyone saying the Watcher was in last episode, CJ? That would make a lot of sense, because Vanessa's death might be a canon event in the Fisk storyline, per se, like how they were saying in Across the Spider-Verse, how there are certain canon events or absolute points, as a sorcerer would phrase it. Like, yes, was it likely just a really cool camera and light trick looking like the Watcher? Yeah, but if it really was the Watcher, this logistically would be something he'd be watching now that she did die.
Yeah, 100%. With how much implications this has for the future of Wilson Fisk and how much it's going to change him as a person, this is definitely something that the Watcher would want to keep his eye on for sure. And I mean, we've mentioned several times like how the details of the show are, and that the producers will put in a detail that a lot of people won't even notice, but it has meaning to it. And this could definitely be one of those cases.
Yeah, I am really worried for all the vigilantes out there. And it's crazy because some of the set photos on the next season of Daredevil really seem like they're leaning into Daredevil being imprisoned, which would kind of fall in line with Spider-Man Brand New Day as well. So crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, for sure. There were some people trying to connect the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer to Daredevil. Maybe Daredevil's going to be in prison, and that's why Spider-Man's there trying to break him out. Based on that leaked Mike Coulter picture, it sure looks like Daredevil might be in prison at the end of this season. So yeah, if that's the case, that's a huge, honestly, really big spoiler for Mike Coulter to give out. But yeah, we'll see where the season goes.
Yeah, but you know, just because they're doing it does not give any hint as to how they're doing it, because when Marvel adapts comic storylines, they love to feel free to change things as they feel fit.
Yeah, 100%. They kind of handle it with vibes, and they do what they want to do and change what they want to change and keep what they want to keep.
Yeah. So let's get into Fisk. This episode, I think, saw many sides to Fisk that we've only really seen glimpses of throughout his history in the MCU. Like, we've never really seen him like this. Like, Vanessa's death has never really been this close to being a possibility until now, and it actually happened. And CJ, you mentioned in last episode as well how this show has done a pretty good job of humanizing Wilson Fisk and getting you to see the other more caring and sensitive side that Vanessa does bring out of him. Like, at the end of the episode, I genuinely felt bad for Fisk when he lost Vanessa. But at the same time, Dex needed his revenge for how Vanessa coerced him into killing Foggy, along with everything else that Fisk and Vanessa did.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this was Wilson Fisk at his absolute lowest point, pretty much, which is saying a lot because he's done a lot of bad stuff. But this is him emotionally at his lowest point. He has no power. He has no control over the situation. He doesn't even have the energy to be angry or aggressive when Vanessa does die. All he can do is just put his head in his hands and just weep. It was incredibly done. The writing of this episode was just so good. Like you mentioned, like I felt empathy for Wilson Fisk at the end of this episode, and I felt bad for him despite what he's done to other people's lives. Like, it was just very, very well done.
Yeah, 100%. And this was also a pretty flashback heavy episode, and we'll get into the good ones later. Do not worry. But the way they used these flashbacks to get more context into Vanessa's early career in the art industry, and also when she first saw the rabbit in a snowstorm painting and how well she predicted it would mirror the man who bought it. Like, it's cool how their relationship kind of feels like fate in a way, as if it were influenced by an unseen or unavoidable force in the universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I thought it was done really well. She didn't know that it was going to be Wilson Fisk that was the person that she would meet, but she knew that by hanging this art piece on the wall, she knew that somebody like him or somebody similar to him going through something like him would show up, and that's exactly what happened. She predicted it perfectly.
Yeah. And it was nice that they both got to have like a moment together before she passed away. You know, I thought she was going to live a little longer after she came back to consciousness, to be honest. But the waves at the ending of the episode were a nice touch. Like, hey, I know this was hectic and scary, but you know, she is at peace now.
Yeah, that was a nice moment that they had. And when she like asked him to tell her a story, and then he did, and then she asked him to tell her story again, like that was, I got chills in that moment, dude. It took me back to season 1 when Ben Urich was in the hospital with his wife, and when she was when they were talking, and she said hello gorgeous, I think, is what she would say, and she said it a couple times, and that was when Ben realized that she was on her way out. And Wilson going through a similar situation, just like the man that he would end up killing in season 1. Like, for him to have to experience that now and get a glimpse of what other people have gone through was very interesting.
Someone call it karma.
Yeah, yep, yeah, things balance out.
Yeah. If and when the task force does find Dex or Matt, more specifically Dex in this instance, but if and when they do, I'm really afraid of what Fisk is going to want to do to them, because he made it very clear he wants them captured alive.
Yeah, very specifically, he wants them alive, an order that he has not given the task force for anyone else before. So I'm sure they're going to be out of their comfort zone where they're not supposed to be killing someone and just taking someone in alive. But yeah, if they end up taking them, I'm worried for both of them and what Fisk is going to do to them.
Yeah, I just, Marvel loves to kill off their villains early. I don't want this to be the end of Dex.
Yeah, and we've mentioned several times like this trend of bad guy going good, redemption, all this. You get your redemption and then it's time to say goodbye. I really hope that doesn't happen for Dex. I want him to live and just go off and do his bullseye stuff.
Yeah, me too, man. And speaking of Dex, it was cool that this episode saw him on like a conquest for cosmic balance and spiritual redemption after having that chat with the priest earlier, and just, him having a new whole perspective on things. And Dex had so many lines this episode saying how he should have died in season 1 when Matt threw him off the roof, but he lived because this storyline was his destiny, and how necessary his killing of Vanessa was to balancing out the scales, as he phrased it, for when he killed Foggy. And he believes that Vanessa's death in a way like rights his wrong, while also insisting Matt like, hey, let me die because I deserve judgment, as he says. I'd argue Bullseye is not wrong here. I'm sure most of us would agree with that, but that very decision as to whether or not Dex should be left to die is a definitive reason as to why we got the flashbacks to Foggy back in the OG Netflix Daredevil days. I mean, genius stuff.
Yeah, it was just the flashback use and the use of Foggy's character was just done so well in this episode, influencing Matt far beyond his death. Even though he's not with us anymore, his impact is still felt greatly. I love how they did that for him. I thought that was really good. And yeah, Bullseye has been on this, like you said, this conquest of trying to make things right in a way. He's trying to do this one good deed because he is repentful for what he did to Foggy. He does regret it. He didn't want to do it. I just think it's interesting that his way of making things right, of killing one person, isn't to like do charity work, isn't help the community. It's, well, now I got to kill this woman and it'll be all good. So yeah, it's just, that's Dex's way of doing things. But in his mind, yeah, he's doing it for a good reason.
Yeah, dude. And also, Matt was like constantly back and forth on whether or not he should help Dex. Like, because Dex is the one who's came as close to causing as much damage in Matt's life as Fisk has, and many other people as well. But then he remembers how Foggy never misses an opportunity to help someone who needs it or give them a second chance, even if they don't necessarily deserve it. Like, there were many times Matt didn't deserve a second chance with his friendship in Foggy near the end of the Netflix Daredevil seasons. But since Foggy is such an empathetic and decent person, that he knew staying with Matt was better than Matt being alone. And that's why Matt knew staying with Dex was better than leaving Dex alone.
Yeah, man. I mean, Foggy was all about mercy and was all about empathy. And that's exactly what Matt needed to show Bullseye. And he knew that it was the right thing to go back for him and to save him. I was kind of shocked when he initially left the church and was like, I have to save one of us. I got to go. I was like, whoa, okay. I didn't think that's how they were going to take him out. And I'm really glad that isn't how he died, and how they used Foggy's character and those flashbacks as the tipping point for Matt making the decision to actually go back for him. I thought that was just done really, really well. And it's always great to see Elton Henson back on the screen.
Yeah, dude. 100%. I like that Matt still didn't let Dex say Foggy's name. He's like, nah, you don't get to say his name. I know you're trying to do the right thing, but this is part of it.
Yeah, he's got a line there, and he's not going to be okay with that. I also loved how when he like pushed him up against the wall and like told him not to say his name, you can hear the Daredevil theme playing in the background. I think they do such a good job at using that theme in the show to just build character and to build the environment. I think it's just done so well.
Yeah. And also later on, when Dex and Matt were talking in the church, I loved his monologue about struggling to change who he is and how hard it can be to change something that feels so like innate and ingrained into who you are. And for him, unfortunately, that's just kind of killing people. And how frustrating and disappointing it can be for when you feel like you've outran the thing that you're running from, only for it to be there again just around the corner, and you knew in the back of your head the whole time that it never really left in the first place. And I relate to that a lot, like not with his specific experiences per se, but trying to be different and better and failing at doing it. And it's really human in a way. And I just feel like any scenes that they have of anyone talking to Daredevil about fate or destiny or anything regarding the divine per se, it's always a 10 out of 10 scene.
Yeah, man. Every time they're talking about fate, or every time they're in a church, it's going to be an incredible scene. And we got both of them at the same time, so of course it was great. I mean, yeah, Bullseye had some incredible dialogue in this episode. It was just written so well, and he's at peace now with who he is, and he's at peace with dying at this point.
Yeah, dude, but when I saw like Foggy actually like walk on the screen for the first time and saying the best avocados at law, like I actually started crying a little bit. I'm dead serious. I started crying a little bit because with Foggy, like Matt is so much happier and healthier, and he loves doing his law work with Foggy. And it just reminded me of what we could have had if Vanessa hadn't made Dex do what he did. And I'm happy these flashbacks of Foggy like choosing to give their entire savings intended for a future space for Nelson and Murdoch was instead given to their client to save him from being killed by a young Buck Catchman. And we'll get into that in a second. But him doing that solidifies that quote that Matt told Frank in season one. Like, guys like you and me, we could work a lifetime and never live up to his decency. So, Foggy, we love and miss you so much, man.
Yeah, dude, it was so nice to see him back on the screen. It was so emotional to see him back. And I mean, all the writing, the flashbacks, like it just feels like that was the anchor moment for Matt. Like you have before Foggy's death and after Foggy's death. Those are the two time periods for Matt Murdock. And it just completely changes everything for him. And I love how similar the vibes and the scenery of the flashbacks were similar to the Netflix era. It really felt like it was watching back in 2015 in the Netflix era of Daredevil.
Yeah, like they kept the same outfits and they even made everything a little bit yellower, like
Yep.
how it was too. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, the Daredevil tint and the camera angles. I love it.
Yeah, and dude, just I love how Foggy was the one who kept pushing to use the paper with the clerical error to get the guy out of the jail, because that guy, he would have died if he would have went to prison, because Fisk was actually setting him up to get killed in prison, and Foggy pushed for them to use the clerical error paper instead, and then gave that guy a second chance with the money. And also, the guy who they gave the second chance to, when he and Foggy were friends back in the day because they knew each other when they were kids, he said that Foggy was the kind of friend that he never really had before Foggy or after Foggy. Just again, like throughout Foggy's whole life, he's just been a really decent guy. It's awesome.
Yeah, I like how they're kind of hammering home the fact that like Foggy is one of the best human beings of this show. Like strictly based on morality and who you are as a person, he's top of the top. I mean, there's so much admiration and love for him, like in the show, and also from the writers. You could tell like they really want to show respect to him, and I really appreciated that. And yeah, I love how they were debating what to do with this case, because Foggy understands like if Lionel goes into prison, he's dead within the first 24 hours, like he told them. Um, but Matt doesn't think that he should just get off scot-free and not face any punishment for what he's done, for like the drug dealing and the weapons. So like there's this debate on what really is justice. Is it this man facing what he's done and paying for what he's done, or is it saving his life and preventing him from getting killed in prison?
Yeah, because in a way, they're using the system to get a guy who should be serving time, serving no time, the very thing that they hate doing. And Matt, at this time, is secretly Daredevil, using his hands to serve justice when the law doesn't work. And currently, this guy is about to get some hands because the system was about to not work.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm low key down with this happening. But Foggy's
Yeah.
like, dude, you're basically allowing him to be sent off to be murdered when you know that that's just as corrupt, if not more corrupt than the thing that we're doing, which is just pointing out a clerical error, even though he is like morally not the best guy.
Yeah, 100%. Like they're sort of in the trolley problem in this situation. Like, do you do nothing and let fate handle itself and let this man die, or do you push the button? Do you switch the track and do you save this man's life?
Yeah. And also the Wesley flashback. So awesome. It was so cool to see his character again. Like his performance is so unique to that actor. Like the expressions he makes, the body language, his vocal inflections, just an iconic character and performance. And I love when Fisk asks Wesley, "Are you familiar with Bitcoin?"
It's so. I mean, anytime Vincent D'Onofrio is in the Wilson Fisk character and he says something modern or says something relevant, it's just so silly and it feels so off.
This world around us is preoccupied with celebrity weddings and videos of cats.
Watching cat videos on YouTube. So good. It's so good.
But we find out Wesley actually knew Buck Cashman back in the day. So it makes sense how Fisk knew who to hire next after Wesley died. But it's cool how long these seeds have actually been in the ground for without us even knowing it till now.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool how they've had this connection this whole time without us even knowing. And yeah, I mean, that was a really cool visual image of seeing Buck and Wesley on the screen at the same time talking to each other. Like you got British Wesley and you got American Buck talking to each other. And like, yeah, that was super cool. He's always had a guy, he always needs a guy with him.
Yeah, bro. But speaking of Buck, actually, him and Daniel had quite the scenes together during this episode because Daniel is getting very, very bad at his job now. And it's only getting more stressful for him as the season goes on. And I kind of feel bad for him, I'm going to be honest, because he was very clear to BB, hey, the leaks are dangerous. Stop leaking. And she continues to manipulate him for information, whether or not she's being genuine in the moment. She does it after the fact. And I think this episode is going to be the last straw for their relationship, if I'm going to be honest. Because he was already pissed at her for showing up at the hospital because that was supposed to be secret. And then she was like, you know what? I'm sorry. I'll dip. And then he gives her the condition because if a girl that you kind of have a crush on and are close with gives you a hug and says she's sorry, you're gonna give in. It's human nature. Like, I don't know what it is, but he gives in, and then she leaks it still, implicating Daniel and honestly not even caring about how it could possibly affect him, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that was kind of wild for BB to do. She knows that, like, I mean, Daniel tells her straight up, like, you can't be here. We can't be spreading information to the public right now. And she still decides to leak the information that he gives her. So yeah, this is probably going to be the last straw for their relationship. I think he's about to blow up on her for sure, and that's going to be a ugly scene, I'm sure. Yeah, I think that Michael Gandolfini's acting in this episode was incredible. Like the whole time he's in the car, you get that feeling in your stomach that he was having in that moment, and like you're worried for him the whole time. And he did a great job with like the panic acting. Like it was very subtle, but it wasn't like over the top, but it was realistic. When he's sitting in that parking lot, when Buck goes into the store and he's waiting for him to come out and he turns the car on and then he freezes and doesn't drive off and turns it off. I'm like, oh my God, Daniel, what are you going to do, bro? Like, I feel like it felt like if he ran, they were just going to find him and kill him. But if he stays, he thinks they're going to kill him too. Like,
yeah, because if you run, you solidify that you're a traitor and then you're on the run forever. But if you stay, there's a chance you die anyway.
Yeah, man. He's really been put in a really tough situation right now.
Yeah, dude. And when he saw Buck walk out of the store with the saw and the shovel, and Buck walked up to the door and he was like, "Hey, open the trunk, dude." His lip was quivering. He was about to start crying. He was so scared.
I mean, I don't blame him. I would have
No,
been the same as him, dude.
Yeah, but Daniel's got to come clean about BB next episode.
Yeah, you can't keep doing this in between thing, trying to play both sides. He's got to look out for himself at this point because he's in some tough shit right now.
Yeah. And they also just did a really good job playing in between, like, is Buck gonna kill him? What is going on here? And then when I saw that it wasn't gonna be Daniel and he opens the trunk, I was like, oh my God, do not be BB in the trunk. Do not be BB in the trunk. Luckily it wasn't. It was the Northern Star first mate that Buck killed at the end of last episode, but still, like, Daniel is in too deep now.
Yes, yeah, he's in trouble for sure. I also wasn't thinking about how episode 4 ended. I didn't remember that he had killed that Northern Star member, and that was probably who was going to be in the trunk. So I was also like, God, don't let this be BB. If this is how she goes out, like, it's too soon, man. Not like this. And I'm very glad it wasn't, but I don't think that saves her from any similar scene like that in the future. I feel like she's definitely going to have a target on her back.
Oh yeah, 100%. So, how do you feel about Karen seeing Dex at the end of the episode and Matt bringing him in?
I mean, she is definitely going to have some things to say about this decision from Matt, and I can't blame her at all. Dex has put her through so much at this point, caused so much stress and harm in her life, almost directly killing her too. Yeah, she's going to be upset about this, and I do not blame her at all. But I think that Matt's going to lawyer up a bit. He's going to plead his case for Dex, and she's probably going to go along with it in the end. I wish that when Matt walked into the room with Dex on his shoulder, I wanted Dex to turn to her and go, "Hello, Karen. It's nice to see you again."
Hello, Karen. It's nice to see you again. Hello, Karen. It's nice to see you again. Hello, Karen.
Just hanging off his back. Hey.
Hello, Karen. It's nice to see you again.
Dude, that was such a missed opportunity.
He totally could have done that.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh, that is so good. But I think Daredevil only has to say 6 words. It's what Foggy would have done.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Because it is what Foggy would have done. And that's gonna hit her hard, man.
Like, Foggy! Damn it! Why didn't we kill the good person?
Can you let me kill this guy, Foggy?
All right, so moving forward, we still haven't gotten Jessica Jones.
I'm surprised at how long it's taken for her to come onto the show.
Yeah, I mean, I get it because, like, vigilantes have to be, like, hiding out now. But, like, I don't know. Matt is kind of the guy to try and do things himself unless absolutely necessary. He's not much of a team guy. I mean, dude, do you remember on the Defenders how much he was like, we're not a team. We're not on a team. I'm not on a team with you guys. I am solo Daredevil, man. Nope. What is a team?
He was very reluctant to team up with them. So yeah, he's always liked to do things on his own and leave people out of the loop for sure.
Yeah, so she's definitely gonna be in here at some point, but I just wonder what it is. I mean, it's probably gonna be just for some extra arm for defense because Fisk is probably gonna go ape shit now since Vanessa's gone. There's literally no angel on Fisk's shoulder. I mean, I'm not calling Vanessa an angel, obviously, but she at least kept him within reason.
Yeah, she was kind of like keeping him at bay and keeping him from completely crashing out and like having him act like a human a little bit, at least sometimes. But now that she's gone, he's going full Kingpin for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be some crazy stuff. I wonder if we'll get any other, like, I wonder if we'll get a villain cameo, like Fisk will hire a villain. Like, what if he hired Scorpion or something like that? We get a Scorpion cameo.
Oh, that would be awesome. That'd be super cool. Yeah, I would really like that a lot.
Because, like, Fisk wouldn't care about vigilantes if they're helping him. And plus, after the fact, he can just say, oh, look at all the damage vigilantes do when they're fighting each other. Vigilantes are terrible for us. We need to arrest all of them even more now.
Yeah, he could 100%. He could use a vigilante to his advantage and then just throw him into the propaganda machine and get the public back on his side, hating vigilantes again. But I would really like if we got a cameo from that. I think that would make sense in story-wise for that to happen. That's something he would do, just like hire a hitman or a vigilante or someone to go after Matt. Yeah, I would really like that.
Yeah. Me too. So that's been episode 5 of Daredevil. Been really awesome. We cannot wait for the rest of the episodes to come out. And then the Punisher special presentation. That's going to be super dope. And then we got Spider-Man. And don't forget, Spider-Noir too. We got a lot of Marvel stuff coming out, guys. It's going to be awesome. We're also covering DC stuff as well. So if you like DC stuff, we will be covering Lanterns. We will be covering Supergirl. And Clayface just released a trailer at SuperCon, so that's pretty cool. It got a lot of good reception, so cannot wait for the actual trailer to be released.
Yeah, 100%. We have a ton of great stuff coming out. It's going to be a great summer and a great year for superheroes in general and superhero projects. Just really looking forward to it. A lot of exciting stuff. So exciting, in fact, that I had to celebrate by pouring myself some pineapple juice in a glass with ice. Shout out to Vanessa Fisk. So we got some great stuff coming up in the future. I hope you guys stick around to watch. I've been waiting on that all video.
Really got to pour one out for Vanessa.
Exactly.
That was good, man. All right. Well, that has been this episode of the Sci-Fly Zone, where the multiverse meets a seventh inning stretch. We hope to see you guys on the next one. Peace.